Misery loves company. It is a natural response. When somebody says, oh, my neck hurts, it's kind of a natural thing to say, I remember when my neck hurt. Or because that's just empathy. It's experiencing what they're experiencing to try to get a common bond. And that's why misery loves company. But there's also, when you complain or are ailing, it attracts other people who get to brag about their complaints as well. So if you notice that misery is loving company, shake it off, change the subject. And the thing is, there's no great talent. You just say exactly what you mean. You know what? Talking about it makes it hurt worse. Let's talk about something else. It's just basic and forward. Also, if you're responding to somebody's behavior in an altruistic way, so altruism, doing something good for somebody else. So if you're stopping what you're doing, sacrificing something that you were on a path for yourself, spending money or gifting or giving something up for another person, whenever you do an altruistic act, check in. First, was it your idea, or did the person put it in your head? Like, did the person create that thing? So altruism always is your idea, not theirs. That's the first way to check your reality. Another thing is, if you're doing something kind for somebody else, if you're doing it out of guilt or shame, if you feel ashamed of being happy, or ashamed of having more money than them, or ashamed of being braver or more confident or something, or if you're feeling guilty, like I have this and they don't, so I need to give it to them, or I was going to go have fun and they'll be alone, so I better not have fun and just stay with them. Anytime you're responding out of guilt or shame and doing something altruistic, that's a manipulation. Altruism should always be your idea. It shouldn't be something brought on, and it shouldn't be a sacrifice. If you're having fun and they're not, you can say, come along and have fun with me. If they say, no, I'm too miserable to have fun, then you say, that's a bummer for you. Call me when you don't want to feel that way anymore. But you can't keep playing into it, because it's like feeding, as Scott says, it's like feeding yourself to your pet piranha. They will eat it. And that's why it's called eating pain, because they kind of thrive on it. And the more they get to tell their tale of woe, or the more they get to watch somebody else feel guilty or ashamed, the more they enjoy it. And then they're getting better at it. And the more they're doing it to one person, they're finding out how that person gets leveraged, which is really scary. I have a client currently who went through a divorce, and her spouse continues to make her feel guilty for having fun. In the division of friends, her spouse is like, well, so when they invited me, it was only because you couldn't go. Or you're spending all this time with the friends that I thought were our friends, and they're all taking your side. But the spouse isn't moving on. And when she moves on, her spouse makes her feel guilty for dating, and then keeps bringing it up like they're going to get back together. But the reason the marriage ended is because she was tired of feeling guilty and ashamed all the time. Like her whole world was just guilty and ashamed. Even when she was having fun, she was always having to check to make sure her spouse was having fun too. Otherwise, she'd be guilted later. Also, if you're in a relationship where you're starting to get afraid of what's going to happen at the end of the interaction, if you go to a party or you go on a holiday or something, if you're worried about how they're going to react when you get behind closed doors, what you should have said, what you didn't notice, how you didn't defend them or whatever, you don't want to be around people who are waiting for a private time to make you feel guilty or ashamed or tongue lash you for what you did wrong. Because then you're sitting through that whole time where you're supposed to be having fun. You're actually, in fact, wondering what you're going to get in trouble for later. Does that make sense?
So you can't win. Something.
Yeah.